The night the moon stood pale above the old savannah, Amina walked alone along the dusty path that led away from her husband's home. The wind brushed against her face, as if trying to comfort her, but the sting in her chest was too heavy to be carried by the wind. Her husband Jero had pushed her out of their compound before sunset, shouting words that cut deeper than any blade. "You bring no fortune, you bring no peace, leave my house, and carry your curse away." Amina did not answer. She only looked at the sky, remembering her father's words before he died. "Child, the world will test you, but the spirits of our ancestors stand near." She had nowhere to go, no child, no sister, no mother, only the memory of her father, who had once been respected as a wise man in the hills of Ombalu, a man who knew the old songs, a man who carried a strange bank card that he guarded like a sacred charm. Amina had carried that old card in her cloth pouch for years. Without using it, she believed it was only a keepsake, a thing with no life of its own. Now, as she walked through the quiet night, the card seemed to press against her side, like it wanted attention, like it had waited for this moment. The moon rose higher, and the sounds of night animals filled the air. Crickets sang, hyenas called far in the plains, owls turned their heads and watched her from trees whose branches looked like arms reaching out to the sky. The smell of dust and wild herbs drifted with every step, and Amina felt the ancient spirit of the land breathing around her. Soon she reached the small trading center of Nkalini. The lanterns of the night watchman burned with dull firelight. The drums from a far compound throbbed gently, like a heartbeat. The place was almost empty, except for a lonely dog that lifted its head as she passed. Amina looked at the wooden benches near the small bank building. The bank of Nkalini was tiny, with mud walls painted white by day and glowing faintly under moonlight by night. Beside the door hung a metal spear that the guards used during festivals, but tonight no guard was present. She sat on the bench and breathed deeply. Her heart trembled. She had no food, no water, no home. She felt the weight of shame and fear pressing down on her shoulders like a heavy stone, yet beneath that fear something else stirred, a whisper, a memory, a pull from the past. She opened her cloth pouch and took out her father card. It looked old and cracked at the edges, but the symbol on it was bright, a golden sun with 12 rays. Each ray carried a pattern like footprints of some ancient spirit. She traced the symbol with her finger, feeling a strange warmth rise from the surface. "Why did you keep this, Baba? What did you want me to do with it?" The wind blew stronger, a cold wind from the east. Amina looked around. The night grew still, as if the whole village had paused to watch her. She stood up, walked to the bank door, and pushed gently. To her shock, the wooden door opened without effort. There was no lock. The bank office was dark, but moonlight slipped in through the window, painting silver shapes on the floor. She stepped inside. Her footsteps echoed softly, and the air inside smelled of dust and old paper. She walked to the desk where a small clay lamp rested. She touched it. The lamp lit by itself, flame rising as if awakened by unseen hands. Amina gasped. She felt the spirits near. She felt her father's presence, too, not in flesh, but like a soft breath brushing her ear. "Use the card, child." Her hands shook. She walked to the small machine that villagers used to check account balances. She had seen people use it many times, but she had never used one before. Still, something guided her, something beyond her own knowledge, as if the ancestors were directing her movement with invisible strings. She placed the card in the slot. The machine blinked awake. A strange hum rose from its belly. The clay lamp flickered. The shadows on the walls shifted like figures dancing in silence. Then, without warning, the machine made a sound like thunder. The screen flashed red, then purple, then gold. The whole bank building trembled. Amina stepped back in fear, pressing herself against the wall. Outside, dogs barked wildly. Birds shot out of trees into the sky. The wind roared as if angry. Amina's heart pounded. She tried to pull the card out, but the machine would not release it. The golden sun symbol on the card began to glow brighter and brighter until the entire room was filled with warm golden light. Then the door burst open. 3 bank workers who lived nearby ran inside carrying lanterns. Their faces were full of shock. "Who is here? Who opened this place? Who activated the sacred account?" Amina froze. Sacred account? What did that mean? One of the workers, a tall elder with white painted marks on his forehead, stepped closer. He looked at Amina, then at the glowing machine. His voice trembled when he spoke. "Child, whose card is that?" Amina tried to speak, but her throat felt tight. She lifted the card slightly and whispered, "It belonged to my father. The people called him Kofi of the Hills." The moment the name left her lips, the room fell silent. The workers exchanged fearful looks. The elder stepped back, placing his hand over his chest, as if greeting a spirit. Kofi of the Hills, the last keeper of the ancestral vault, the man who walked with spirits, you mean he was your father? Amina nodded, confused, frightened, shaken. The elder fell to his knees, his lantern dropped to the floor, his voice shook as he spoke again. Child, you do not know what you carry. That card is not a simple card. It is a key to a realm of wealth and power, hidden before our fathers' fathers were born. If the vault wakes, the whole land will feel it. Amina stared at the glowing machine. Her heartbeat thundered in her chest. The wind howled outside. The moon grew brighter. The night seemed alive, listening, watching, waiting. What vault, what power, what had her father hidden from her, and why was the bank panicking? She swallowed hard, her voice barely rising above a whisper. What is happening to me? The elder looked at her with fear and wonder mixed in equal measure. The spirits have chosen you, Amina, daughter of Kofi. The vault has awakened, and nothing in this land will ever be the same again. The lamp flame shook as if a spirit hand touched it, and the golden light from the machine still filled the room, making every shadow look alive. Amina stood frozen, her breath thin and sharp, like she had swallowed fear itself. The elder rose slowly, his eyes fixed on the glowing card, as if it was a living thing. Child, listen well, he said, for this night is the beginning of a path no one can turn from. Once taken, your father Kofi guarded a great secret, a secret tied to the land, the spirits, and the old kings. He hid it in this vault long before you were born. Amina felt her knees weaken. She clutched the card close to her chest, though it burned softly like warm firelight. What secret? Why did he hide it from me? Before the elder could speak, the building trembled again. This time it was stronger. The lanterns shook, the clay lamp flickered, the wooden walls groaned, as if an unseen force pushed against them. The younger bank workers backed away, fear growing in their eyes. One whispered a prayer to the river goddess, another covered his face, as if afraid the spirits inside the vault might see him. Amina felt something stir deep within her, something she had never felt before, like an old drum beating inside her chest with slow, heavy power. Tell me what this vault is, she said, her voice trembling, yet firm. Tell me why my father's name brings fear. The elder breathed deeply and looked toward the door to be sure no outsider heard. Then he spoke in a low voice full of ancient weight. Long ago, before the kingdom of Ombalu was divided, before the mountains cracked during the great storm, there existed a sacred pact between the spirits and the people. The ancestors gifted a vault of hidden wealth, not only gold, but knowledge, energy, and power from the land itself. This vault could heal drought, bring rain, protect warriors, and guide leaders. But if opened by a soul not chosen, it could bring ruin. Amina listened, every hair on her neck rising like a vault of the spirits. Yes, child, and your father was the last keeper of its key. The elders of old knew he walked with the ancestors. They trusted him to guard the card and to pass it only to the one the spirits chose. But he never told me, Amina whispered. He never gave me any sign. The elder shook his head. Maybe he waited, maybe he feared you would not be ready, maybe he trusted the spirits to call you in their own time. Amina stared at the glowing machine. The golden symbol pulsed like a beating heart. It felt alive, it felt aware. Then a deep sound rolled through the ground. It was not thunder, it was not wind, it was something older, a voice of the earth itself, a sound that made the floor tremble and the walls breathe. The elder eyes widened. The vault is waking, the land is answering. Amina felt fear choking her, but she forced her legs to move. She stepped toward the machine. The light grew brighter, wrapping around her like a warm shawl. Voices whispered from nowhere, soft whispers like ancestors speaking through the night wind. The younger workers ran out of the room, unable to bear the weight of the presence around them. Only the elder remained standing with his palm against the wall, as if to steady his spirit. Suddenly the machine screen turned black, then symbols appeared on it, symbols Amina had never seen, yet somehow understood. They were old runes, footprints of the ancient spirit language. Her father had once drawn such symbols on the ground when teaching her about the land when she was a child. The machine spoke in a voice that was not a machine voice. It was deep and echoing like a spirit speaking from a cave. Name the bloodline. Amina gasped. The elder fell to his knees, trembling. Name your father, he whispered. Name the one who gave you the right. Amina stepped closer, her heartbeat drumming louder than the distant hyenas. Her voice shook as she spoke. I am Amina, daughter of Kofi of the Hills, daughter of the keeper. The screen glowed gold brighter and brighter until the whole bank office looked like it was inside the sun. Then the light gathered into a single point and shot upward like a column of fire, piercing the ceiling. Without burning it, it rose into the sky, through the roof, into the night. Outside, villagers awakened by the strange light screamed and ran. Some knelt, some cried, some prayed, believing a sign from the ancestors had arrived. The elder shielded his face from the brilliance. "The vault accepts you," he whispered, his voice trembling in awe. "The spirits accept your bloodline." Amina felt heat sweep through her. Her veins tingled, her skin flushed, her mind felt open like a gate had been lifted inside her. She felt the land, she felt the wind, she felt the old spirits watching her with eyes older than time. Then, as suddenly as it came, the light vanished. The room fell silent. The machine stopped glowing. The lamp steadied. The night resumed its normal sound. But something had changed, something deep and dangerous. The elder stood again weakly and looked at Amina with a mixture of fear, respect, and sorrow. "Listen carefully, child, for now that the vault knows you exist, you are no longer safe. Many will come to seek the vault power. Some will want to protect you, but many more will want to control you or destroy you." Amina felt cold despite the warmth still burning faintly inside her. "What must I do?" "You must leave this place tonight," he said. "The spirits will guide your path. Go north to the forest of Mbara. Find the hunter named Lumo. He was loyal to your father. He will know what comes next." Amina looked at the silent machine, the empty bank, and the card that seemed to hum gently in her hand. She thought of her husband, pushing her out her home. She thought of her father. She thought of the fear in the elder eyes. "Why me?" she whispered. "Why did the spirits choose me?" The elder placed a trembling hand on her shoulder. "Because you carry the courage your father carried. Because the land always chooses those who suffer and rise. Because destiny has already taken your hand." Outside, the moon shone brighter than before. Amina stepped out of the bank into the night. The wind greeted her like an old friend. The stars watched her like silent witnesses. She tightened her grip on the card. A strange power pulsed inside her. A road she never asked for stretched ahead. She began to walk, unaware that glowing footprints appeared behind her. With every step, footprints that faded slowly into the dust, as if spirits walked with her. Amina walked through the sleeping village, her bare feet touching the cool earth, as if greeting something familiar. The moon lit her path with soft silver glow, and the wind followed behind her like a silent guardian. Every step pulled her farther from the life she once knew and closer to a mystery she had never imagined. She left Nkalini before dawn. The distant drums had stopped. The night birds quieted. The land seemed to hold its breath, waiting. The card in her hand pulsed with a faint warmth like a silent heartbeat, guiding her toward the north. The elder words echoed inside her. "Go to the forest of Mbara. Find Lumo the hunter. He will know your father's secret." Amina entered the open plains where tall grass whispered with every shift of the wind. The air carried scents of soil and night flowers. Far ahead, the dark line of the forest stretched across the horizon like a sleeping giant. She had no food and no water, yet something inside her felt awake, alert, strong. She no longer felt only fear. She felt a strange pull, a sense that she was meant to walk this path, as if the ancestors stepped beside her. As the sun began to rise, she heard rustling from the grass. A deep growl followed. Amina froze. Her heart thundered inside her. The growl came again, only louder. A shape moved through the tall grass, low and heavy. Then a lion stepped out, its mane full and wild, its eyes golden like the morning sun. It looked at her not with hunger, but with a strange old wisdom. She backed away slowly, her breath sharp in her chest. The lion did not approach. Instead, it lowered its head slightly, as if bowing. She felt the card in her hand grow warm again. The lion blinked once, then turned away, walking slowly through the grass, leaving her unharmed. Amina stood, shaking. "The spirits are guiding even the beasts," she whispered. There was fear in her voice, but also awe. By midday, she reached the edge of the forest of Mbara. The trees rose tall, twisting like ancient guardians, their leaves thick and dark green, their roots curled like snakes. Above the earth, the forest air felt different, heavy with secrets and old songs. She entered slowly, feeling the cool shadow wrap around her. Inside the forest, the sounds changed. Birds sang with strange melodies. Insects clicked and chirped in patterns like coded messages. The leaves rustled, though no wind touched them. Amina felt watched, not by danger, but by ancient presence. She walked deeper until she heard water flowing. The sound was calm, like gentle laughter. She followed it until she reached a clear river. Its surface shone like polished stone. She knelt and cupped water into her hands, drinking deeply. The water tasted pure, like new rain. Suddenly a voice spoke behind her. You walk like your father. Walk quiet, walk careful. Amina spun around. A tall man stood among the trees, his skin dark like tree bark, his shoulders broad, his hair tied back with a strip of animal hide. A bow hung across his back, and a spear rested in his hand. His eyes were sharp but not unfriendly. Are you Lumo? She asked. The man nodded slowly. I am Lumo, son of the plains, hunter of Mbara, who calls my name. Amina stood straight, trying to hide her trembling. I am Amina, daughter of Kofi of the hills. The name changed Lumo's face. His stern look softened, replaced by shock and deep respect. He placed his spear on the ground and went down on one knee. Daughter of Kofi, the spirits said you would come, but I did not believe until this moment. Rise, child of the keeper. Amina felt her throat tighten. The spirits told you. Lumo stood again. Yes, the forest speaks in ways most cannot hear. When Kofi died, the trees mourned, the earth shook, the air carried his last message. He said the vault would wake again through his blood. Amina felt tears gather in her eyes. He never told me about the vault. He never told me I was chosen. Lumo studied her with calm eyes. Your father protected you in his own way. He knew danger would hunt whoever held the key, but the spirits knew this day would come. They whispered your name to the wind long before tonight. Amina handed him the card. Lumo did not touch it. He stepped back, fear crossing his face. I cannot hold it, he said. It belongs only to the chosen. The vault will burn any hand that is not rightful. Amina felt the gravity of his words. She looked at the card again, feeling its gentle heat against her skin. Lumo motioned her to follow. He led her deeper into the forest. The sunlight filtered through leaves in thin golden strips. The air grew cooler, and the ground softer, covered in moss. They walked until they reached a hidden clearing. Here the trees circled around a smooth stone altar covered in carved symbols. Amina stared at the altar, her breath caught in her throat. I know these markings. My father drew them for me when I was small. I thought it was only a game. Lumo shook his head. No, it was a lesson, a silent teaching. This altar is the place where keepers come to speak with the ancestors. It is the gate between the land and the vault. Amina touched the altar. The stone felt warm again. Her fingers tingled. The symbols glowed, faintly responding to her touch. Lumo stepped back, giving her space. Now, child, he said, this is the moment your father waited for, the moment he hid from all enemies, the moment he trusted the spirits to decide. You must place the card on the altar. Only then will the truth be shown. Amina's heart raced. She lifted the card with both hands. The forest grew silent. No birds, no river, no wind, just stillness, like time itself paused to witness. She placed the card on the center of the altar. The earth trembled. A deep hum rose from beneath the ground. The symbols on the altar glowed bright gold, spreading from one marking to another until the entire stone shone like a star. Light rose from it, swirling in circles like golden smoke. Lumo shielded his eyes. The vault is opening. The gate is waking. Amina felt her feet lift slightly from the ground. Her hair lifted, her eyes widened. Voices surrounded her, whispering, singing, calling. They were the voices of her ancestors, of old kings, of forgotten keepers, speaking in a language she understood without learning. Then the light gathered into a single image, forming in front of her. A tall figure with the same eyes as her father Kofi appeared, made of pure golden light. Amina stared, breathless. Baba. The spirit figure nodded. I have waited long, child. Now the truth must be learned. The danger must be faced, for darkness follows the vault, and it hunts you even now. Amina's heart froze. Darkness hunts me. Why? The spirit raised its hand. Light rippled through the forest, and an image formed in the air. A shadow, a tall, dark figure cloaked in smoke and moving across the savanna toward the forest. Lumo gasped. That is the hunter of shadows, the enemy of all keepers. He comes for the card. The spirit voice echoed through the trees. There is no turning back, child. The world has changed, and you must choose your path. Amina stared at the shadow, drawing closer. Her heartbeat thundered. The card glowed. The air trembled. Her journey had only begun. The clearing shook with the power of the vision. The spirit of Kofi faded slowly like mist eaten by the morning sun, but his last words stayed heavy in the air. The shadow hunter comes for the card, child. Beware, his darkness grows with every heartbeat. Amina stood trembling, her chest rose and fell fast, her palms sweaty, her mind full of fear and questions. Lumo touched her arm gently, though his hand shook too. "We must move," he said. "The shadow hunter kills all keepers. His hatred is older than any living man. If he finds you here, the forest will not save you." Amina looked at the altar where the card now glowed with slow golden pulse like a sleeping heartbeat. She felt the weight of destiny heavy and cold. "Why does he hunt us? Why does he want this card?" she whispered. Lumo did not answer. He turned his eyes toward the deep trees and lifted his spear. His face grew hard like carved stone. "Listen," he said. "Hear the forest, it cries danger." Amina listened. At first, she heard nothing, but then she noticed the birds that once sang were gone. The insects that chirped had gone silent. The wind stopped moving. The whole forest felt breathless, fearful, waiting. Then a faint sound rose from the ground, a low, deep hum like footsteps, not human footsteps, heavy steps that seemed to crush the earth itself. Lumo's eyes widened. He grabbed Amina's wrist. "Run now, go." They ran through the trees, branches whipping past them, leaves brushing their skin. The forest was dense, full of twisting roots and hanging vines, but Lumo moved like a spirit, guiding Amina with silent hand. They jumped fallen logs, ducked under low branches, and splashed through shallow streams. Behind them the hum grew louder, the trees groaned, the ground trembled. Amina dared to look back. A dark mass moved through the forest, shadows swirled around it like angry smoke. A figure, tall, thin, wrapped in darkness, with glowing red cracks. Where eyes should be, it had no face, only a dark hollow that swallowed the light around it. Her heart clenched, fear stabbed her like a blade. She turned back and ran faster. "Who is he?" she cried, breath-breaking. "Who is that thing?" Lumo spoke between heavy breaths. "The shadow hunter is not a man. He was once a keeper long ago, before the kingdoms split. He turned against the ancestors. He wanted the vault for himself. When the spirits refused him, he became twisted, corrupted. The darkness ate his soul. Now, he hunts the vault power and all who protect it." Amina felt sick. A fallen keeper, a twisted spirit chasing her. They reached a slope covered in roots. Lumo climbed first, then pulled Amina up behind them. The sound came closer, heavy and slow but unstoppable. At the top of the slope they reached an ancient tree wider than 5 huts. Its bark shone silver in the faint light. Lumo stopped and placed his ear against it, listening. "Great tree of Mbara," he whispered, "help us hide, protect the daughter of Kofi." The tree answered. Amina felt it. Its bark shifted, its roots moved. A large opening appeared at its base like a mouth, slowly widening. Lumo pushed her inside quickly. "Stay silent, stay still," he said. "I will distract him." "No." Amina grabbed his arm. "Do not fight alone, you will die." Lumo smiled sadly. "A true keeper never dies, child. The forest knows my spirit. If I fall, it will carry me home. Hide now." Before she could stop him, the tree roots wrapped around her, pulling her into the hollow. The bark slid shut, sealing her inside. Darkness filled the space. Amina pressed her hand against the inner bark, shaking with fear. Through cracks in the wood she heard footsteps. The air turned cold. A deep voice rose, not human, not spirit, but something twisted and broken. "I smell the keeper blood. I smell her fear. Bring her to me. Bring me the card, or I break this forest into dust." Lumo's voice answered, strong and fearless. "You will not touch her. You will not break this sacred land. Leave, shadow of betrayal. Leave now, or face the wrath of Mbara." The shadow hunter laughed, a sound like cracking bones and burning wood. "My hunger is old, hunter. You cannot stop me." Then a crash, a roar, a sound of spear hitting something solid. Amina's heart slammed painfully in her chest. She pressed her eye to a small crack and saw Lumo fighting. The hunter moved like smoke, shifting back and forth. His long limbs struck like whips. His shadowy arms smashed the ground. Lumo dodged and struck again and again, but the shadow swallowed most blows. Lumo shouted, "Amina, run. When the way clears, run to the mountain beyond the forest. Find the oracle of Ashuna. She will show the next path." The shadow hunter roared and threw Lumo against a tree. The force shook the leaves. Amina cried out, but the tree muffled her voice. Lumo staggered to his feet, blood running down his arm. Though no wound could be seen, he lifted his spear again, breathing hard. The shadow hunter voice shook the forest. "Your fight is pointless. Give me the girl, give me the card, and your death will be quick." "Never," Lumo growled. "The daughter of Kofi will finish what you failed to steal. You will not touch her." The shadow lurched forward. Amina could only see swirls of darkness, claws sharper than obsidian fangs of shadow striking at Lumo. Lumo fought with everything he had, but the hunter was too strong, too old, too full of hate. Finally, a strike hit Lumo's chest. He stumbled back, his spear fell, his knees bent, he dropped to the ground. Amina felt pain rip through her chest, tears filled her eyes. Lumo, no. The shadow hunter bent over him. You die. With honor, hunter, your spirit will taste good. Before the shadow could finish the killing blow, the forest itself rebelled. The trees roared, the ground split, thick roots rose from the soil wrapping around the shadow hunter, holding him back for a moment, only a moment. Lumo used the last of his strength. He looked toward the tree where Amina hid, his voice faint but clear. Amina, run, run now, daughter of Kofi, you are the last hope. Then the shadow hunter broke free of the roots, and darkness swallowed Lumo completely. Amina screamed inside the tree, though no sound escaped her, heart shattered. She pressed her hands against the bark, trembling. The forest trembled too, mourning the fall of its brave hunter. The tree roots began to move again, gently pushing her upward toward an opening. Amina saw a narrow path ahead, lit by faint golden dust, as if the ancestors marked the way. She stepped out, shaking, eyes filled with tears, heart filled with grief. She looked back once, but the forest darkened behind her, hiding the death of Lumo from her eyes. Amina wiped her tears with trembling hands. The card pulsed in her pouch. A voice whispered in her mind, run, child, run to the mountain. The journey is far from over. She began to run into the unknown, carrying fear, sorrow, and a destiny she never asked for. Amina ran through the forest with tears burning her eyes. Her legs felt heavy, her breath sharp, but grief pushed her forward. The spirit of Lumo still echoed inside her head. Run, child, run to the mountain. The shadow hunter will not stop until he holds the card, until the vault is his. The forest thinned between the trees, the land rose higher, and the air grew colder ahead. The mountain of Ashuna rose like a giant spirit, its peak touching the sky, its slopes wrapped in silver fog. The ancestors had whispered of this place. The elders said the oracle lived here, and only she could show the last truth. Amina stopped at the foot of the mountain, her heart still drowning in sorrow for Lumo. The air smelled of old stone and cold wind. Her hands shook as she touched the rock. She felt something deep inside the mountain, as if an ancient heartbeat slept beneath the stone. Suddenly a soft voice whispered behind her, do not fear, child of Kofi. Amina turned slowly. An old woman stood before her, her hair white as river foam, her skin lined like cracked earth, her eyes bright like stars. She carried a long staff carved with runes that glowed faintly, the oracle of Ashuna. Amina bowed weakly. Oracle, please help me. The shadow hunter killed Lumo. He is coming for me. He wants the vault power. I do not know what to do. The oracle lifted Amina chin gently. You are not alone, child. The spirits walk with you. Lumo's spirit walks with you even now, but the darkness grows faster than light. We must go to the peak of the mountain. Only there can the truth be revealed. She began walking up the path. Amina followed, though her legs trembled. The mountain path twisted like a serpent. The wind grew strong, carrying ancient voices, some kind, some warning, some urging her onward. The trees near the mountain were short, twisted, shaped by storms. Their leaves rattled like bones in wind. As they climbed, Amina felt the card grow hotter and heavier. She held it close against her chest, feeling its thrum like a heartbeat. The oracle walked ahead, calm, untouched by the cold. After long climb, they reached a wide, flat stone platform on the mountain peak. The clouds drifted below them. The world looked far away, tiny, fragile. The oracle raised her staff and spoke in a voice that shook the sky. Spirits of Ashuna, awake. The last keeper stands before you. The time has come. The ground glowed. Golden lines spread across the stone, forming a giant circle with symbols Amina had seen on the altar. The air warmed, the wind stilled, the light gathered into a tall shape in the center of the circle. The spirit of Kofi stood before her again, made of golden fire, his eyes soft and full of sadness and pride. Amina stepped forward. Baba, I am afraid Lumo died. Because of me, the shadow hunter killed him, and he is still coming. Kofi raised his glowing hand. No, child, Lumo chose his path. He fought with honor. His spirit does not blame you. The true keeper always walks with sacrifice, always gives something dear. The vault power must never fall into wrong hands. Your journey is not to open the vault, nor to fight the shadow hunter. Your journey is to understand the truth of the vault. Amina felt confusion. The truth? What truth, Baba? The oracle spoke, her voice firm. The vault is not a place, child. It is not treasure. It is not gold. It is not magic stored in locked chamber. The vault is the land itself, the rivers, the mountains, the forests, the people, the spirits. Your father was keeper not of wealth, but of balance. The card is not a key. It is a symbol, a bridge that calls the spirits to awaken the keeper power inside you. Amina felt her breath stop inside her. The vault is me. The oracle nodded. The vault breathes through you. The spirits chose you because your heart carries both courage and pain, and both shape a keeper. Your power is the power of the land. You can command the spirits. You can heal the wounded earth. You can protect the people, but only if you accept your path without fear. Amina felt tears rise again. She looked at her hands, once weak, now trembling with power. She looked at her father's spirit, who smiled with pride and sorrow. Before she could speak, the sky darkened. Cold wind whipped across the platform. Shadows rose like smoke in a circle. A loud roar tore through the air. The shadow hunter stood at the edge of the peak, his body swirling with darkness, his eyes glowing red like burning coals. At last he said, his voice breaking the air, "I found you, keeper child. Give me the card, give me the vault power, kneel, and I will allow your death to be quick." Amina stepped forward, her fear melted, replaced by strange calm. The card in her hand burned, bright golden light pouring out of it. Her hair lifted, her skin glowed. The power of the land awakened inside her. "No," she said, her voice steady. "I will not let you harm the land. I will not let you harm the spirits. I am the daughter of Kofi. I am the keeper now." The shadow hunter roared, and charged darkness spread across the ground, turning stone to ash. Amina lifted the card, and golden light burst outward, clashing with the darkness. The force shook the mountain. The oracle held her staff firmly. Kofi's spirit stood behind Amina, his hand on her shoulder, giving strength. The shadow hunter struck again. Amina raised her hands. Golden energy rose from the earth, surrounding her like a barrier. The darkness broke against it like waves against rock. The hunter screamed, "You cannot stop me. I am endless. I am older than your kingdom." Amina's voice rose with power. "No, you are a fallen keeper, a heart lost to greed. You cannot be stronger than the spirits. You cannot be stronger than truth." The golden circle under her feet blazed. The light grew hotter, brighter, rising like a sun. Amina felt the spirits behind her, guiding her, lifting her, filling her with strength. She raised the card high, and golden fire shot from her hands, hitting the hunter's chest. The darkness, cracked smoke rose, his body twisted, his scream echoed across the whole land. The golden fire spread until it swallowed the shadow whole, his form shattered into dust, carried away by the wind. Silence fell. The golden light faded, the mountain grew calm, the wind softened. The oracle stepped forward, her eyes filled with awe. "You have done it, child. The shadow hunter is gone forever." Kofi's spirit smiled, though his body grew faint like smoke. "At dawn my work is done, Amina. You carry the light of the land now. Protect it, guard it, remember your strength." Amina stepped to him, tears falling. "Baba, do not leave me. I still need you." His voice gentle, "You do not need me, child. You only need your own heart. Remember that, and know this, I am never far from you." Then his spirit faded into the golden dawn. Amina stood on the peak alone, except for the oracle wind brushing her face. Sun rising over the land. The card in her hand glowed, once then turned into a small stone shaped like a sun, a symbol of her new role. The oracle touched her shoulder. "Keeper of the land, your journey begins now, not ends. Walk with courage always." Amina looked at the wide land below, the forests, the rivers, the villages, the mountains, all waiting for her protection, all trusting her spirit. Her old life was gone, a new destiny stood before her. She breathed deeply, feeling the heartbeat of the land inside her. "I will protect them all, Baba, I promise." And she began the long walk down the mountain, her heart full, her spirit strong, the new keeper of the vault. Dawn slowly rose over the valley of Zawara, painting the sky with bands of gold and ember, as if the ancestors themselves were opening a doorway of light after a long night of shadows. Amina sat beside the sacred hill, her hands resting on her knees, her breath calm for the first time since her suffering began. The wind carried the smell of wet earth and flowering acacia, and she felt the trees watching her like silent keepers of her journey. The night before, she had made the choice that would shape her destiny, and now the spirits waited for her next step. She held the old card, the one that carried her father's sigil, the one that had shaken a whole bank and exposed the lies of men who thought they owned the world. The card still glowed faintly warm against her palm, as if her father's hand lingered on it, guiding her heart. Her father had been a protector of the land, keeper of sacred wealth, guard of the ancient oath. That truth had come to her slowly, piece by piece, until it stood brightly before her like a sunrise she could not deny. Elder Kofi approached from behind, leaning on his carved staff, his steps steady though slow. His eyes were bright as firelight and full of understanding. "Child, the night spirits whisper you have accepted your father's path," he said, his voice both gentle and firm. Amina nodded. "Yes, elder, my heart is no longer running from itself. I know who I am and what I must guard." "Good," he said, "for our land remembers those who honor truth." Then he pointed toward the valley. "And now the time has come to face them all, the living and the ones who betrayed you. You must walk the final part of this journey." Amina rose, her body strong, her spirit steady. She walked down the slope where the villagers gathered waiting for her. The drums were silent, though each drummer held their instrument ready as if the first beat would decide fate. Children stood behind their mothers, whispering her name with awe. Warriors stood with chests high, showing respect not with words but with presence. Even the elders formed a half-circle, leaving space for her to step into the center. When she did, the wind shifted, swirling dust and red petals around her feet. Elder Kofi lifted his staff, calling the gathering to order. "People of Zawara, today we witness the truth of lineage, the truth of courage, and the truth of justice. Amina, daughter of Baram, the last guardian of the sacred vault, has returned to her place. Her father entrusted her with a protection older than our kings, older than our warriors, older even than our river gods. And she has stood firm in the face of betrayal." The crowd murmured with surprise. Voices rose. Did she really break the bank? Did she really hold power from the ancestors? Did her father really guard sacred wealth? Amina stepped forward, lifting her head. "I did not seek power," she said. "I did not seek wealth. I only wanted to survive after my husband cast me out." But the card he tried to bury revealed truth. Not wealth for greed. Wealth meant for the protection of our people. My father did not leave fortune in coins. He left responsibility. The villagers bowed their heads, for her words carried weight older than memory. But not all hearts in the crowd bowed willingly. Kwame, her husband, pushed through the onlookers, his face tense, his pride wounded deeper than any wound of the flesh. "Amina," he said, his voice shaking, "I came to speak. Not as your husband, not as the man who failed you, but as one who now understands what I destroyed." Silence settled like falling ash. "I let my own insecurity poison my heart," he said. "I forgot your worth. I forgot your fire. I let the shadows of my own failures lead me to cast you away like dust. I wronged you, and I wronged myself. And now the whole land sees what I never saw. Forgive me, Amina. Forgive me even if you never return." The villagers watched every breath, every flicker of her expression. Some felt pity for Kwame. Others felt anger. And some simply waited for justice to speak through her. Amina looked at him long and slow. She remembered the night he had thrown her out with nothing but tears and an old card. She remembered the ache, the loneliness, the hunger. She remembered how the spirits held her when no human hands did. She remembered the mountains whispering courage to her when she wanted to break. Then she spoke. "I forgive you, Kwame. But forgiveness does not mean return. My path has changed. My father left me a calling, and I must honor it. You must walk your own path and learn its lessons." Kwame lowered his head, tears slipping silently down his face, yet he did not argue. He accepted her words as truth. The wind shifted again, and Amina felt a warmth behind her. When she turned, she saw a faint shimmering shape, her father's spirit, standing tall and proud, shining like flame through mist. His voice rolled through the village like thunder softened by love. "My child, you have chosen well. The power I carried is now yours, not to rule, but to protect. Guard the sacred wealth. Guard the harmony of the land. Guard the hearts of those who cannot guard themselves." The villagers fell to their knees, for the presence of a guardian spirit was rare and holy. Amina bowed her head, whispering, "Father, I will not fail." The spirit nodded and faded into golden mist carried by the rising sun. And so Amina was given her true place. She became keeper of the sacred vault, protector of the unseen bridge between the living and the ancestors. She lived not in greed, but in service. She trained young watchers, taught the meaning of honor, guided the land with steady hands, and a heart full of quiet fire. Her story traveled far, across rivers and mountains, across markets and kingdoms, across firesides where elders told tales to children. They spoke not only of her power, but of her courage, her dignity, and her choice to forgive without returning to the chains that once hurt her. In time, her name became a symbol across the land. Amina the Resilient. Amina the Guardian. Amina the daughter of the ancestors. And every child who heard her story learned the truth written into her journey.